Hi, welcome to the video for the molecular and empirical formula notes and the beginning of the lab. This is Ms. DeLuca, and you're going to need these three papers. The half sheet, the one that says examples on the top, and then also the molecular formula calculations lab. So we're going to start with the half sheet. So empirical and molecular formulas are formulas that take two different forms. Every formula that you've seen up until this point has been a molecular formula. So we're going to start with that one. Okay, so the molecular formula is, you can think of it like an unreduced fraction. So an example would be 5/10, or 3/6, 500 1,000ths, 251 thousandths, anything like that. These are the formulas that have the actual number of atoms. In a chemical compound. So an important difference does not apply to things like H2 or O2. Those are not chemical compounds. Those are just molecules of an element. All right, so these are the formulas that tell you exactly how many atoms are in one molecule of a chemical compound. These are the most common. And they can be used for a variety of purposes. Now the empirical formula is, you can think of it like the reduced fraction. Okay, it cannot get any smaller. 1/2 or 3/4 or 1/5. So like if you had 5/10, that would be 1/2. So the 5/10 would be the molecular formula, and the 1/2 would be the empirical formula. Right? This formula is the most reduced ratio of elements in a chemical compound. So for instance, if you had a chemical formula, I don't think this is a real chemical, but I'm just going to do it for funsies. So let's take L lithium. So we have 8 lithiums and then 16 chlorines. This would be one molecule of something. Then the empirical formula would be, so you figure out the lowest common denominator. We'll put that up here. The lowest common denominator. So we can divide 16 by 8 and 8 by 8. So we'll divide these. And then that makes 1 lithium. And then you would have 2 chlorine atoms. This would be the empirical formula, because it's the reduced fraction. This one would be the molecular formula. Right? Empirical formulas are used a lot in labels and for easier math. And you can use an empirical formula to find the molecular formula by doing some math. Okay? So the most important thing for you to remember is that empirical is the reduced and the molecular is the actual. Okay? So we're going to take this and we're going to set this aside. It's going to be flapped on top